Hello, everyone. Welcome to Made to Dream. I'm your host, Maya Chanel, and here we share stories from women around the world to inspire young girls and women to dream with unlimited possibilities. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Alexandra, and I'm going to go ahead and allow her to introduce herself to you guys and let her share her story. So, hi, Alexandra. How are you doing today?
Hi Maya, I'm good. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for joining us. So, go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Aleksandra Di Gesaro. I'm a fashion photographer, writer, and entrepreneur. I originally come from Poland, but now I live in Milan, Italy. Back in Poland, I graduated law, and right after graduation, I moved to Italy to join my fiance and now my husband. And I realized that the job market in Italy was completely different than the one in Poland. And I spent months searching for a job, sending job applications that remained unanswered. And I was getting more and more depressed because, I have 3 degrees, I speak 5 languages. And when I didn't even get an interview for a
Wow.
secretary, I was like, no, or I'm like, don't know, a total disaster, there's something not working. And after around 8 months, I decided, okay, that's enough. I'm putting so much effort into doing something that I will most probably hate. So, and I'm not getting any results. So, how about trying to do something that I actually love and see how it goes, because it can't go any worse than that. And that's
Yeah.
how I decided to pursue my career as fashion photographer.
That's awesome. So, I know you said that you had all this experience and you had the degree and everything, and then they wanted to give you a job as a secretary. I think a lot of women experience that where we are undervalued and not we're not like shown for our worth and our skill set. So how did that make you feel and how were you able to overcome those feelings and say, you know what, I'm not going to accept this. I'm better than this. I deserve more than this. How are you able to do that?
I've always been a bit of rebellious, and when I saw what are my possibilities and perspectives of work, that maybe somebody would give me an internship and I will have to work for free or for very little money for months or maybe even years, and later maybe they would give me the minimal payment. I was like, no way, like I just don't agree with for that. And obviously I had no idea what I was doing, but I decided, you know what, I give myself like 2 years of time. I'm still young, and so I can try, especially that I just moved to another country. It's not so easy to start. So I decided, okay, I give myself 2 years of time. If within 2 years I don't see any results, okay, I give up. I come back to this. Maybe everybody else is right. Maybe I should just pursue the traditional career. But for the
Mhm.
moment, I just absolutely don't agree for it, and I just deserve better.
Definitely. You have to pursue your dreams, even if it means stepping out of your comfort zone. So, what drew you to a space of becoming a photographer?
So I've actually been taking pictures since I was like 13, and it's been my hobby, and I never even considered it could be my job. Also, one of the degrees I have is actually in photography, that I've done just purely for my own joy. It was just the third faculty, the third thing I was studying, and it was just because I wanted to, organize my knowledge, get it somehow, full, because I felt I had some little holes. And during the studies of photography, I experimented with many types of photographies, and I already knew that the one that I like the most is fashion. So when it
Mm.
came to the choice of career, it was like obvious, it was clear.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know we spoke earlier about you having a law degree. So, what made you pursue your law degree in a sense? Because I know we go to college sometimes and maybe it's just saying, like, okay, these are usually the most successful careers or job titles. So, let me choose one of these that society deems as success. So, how did you decide to pick that career and besides what you actually like to do?
So, as for law, I went to law school because I was brought up in a very traditional family. My parents are both doctors. I just hate biology, so I couldn't become a doctor. But so like law was kind of an obvious choice. Also, I had really no idea what I wanted to do. The fact is that I also applied to film school and I didn't get in. So I was like, I had absolutely no idea what I want to do with my life at that time, and I decided to go to law school because in Poland you can do so many things after law school. Not only be a lawyer, because I never really wanted to be a lawyer, but you can also work in corporations. You can work in some organizations, even in publishing houses. Like, practically people just think you're smart. So, and one other factor was that the president of the Polish Film Institute is graduated law. So it was also one of the factors. Okay, maybe later I become the boss of the Film Institute. And so that was practically the reason, because as I said, I had no idea what to do, so I chose a path that was opening many doors.
That's awesome. So remind me again, how long have you been in photography? I know it was your hobby, but how long have you been in it since you've made it your career?
So since it's been my career, it's something like 2.5 years.
2.5 years. So how would you say your journey is going right now? Your journey as a photographer?
It's going good. Of course, it has ups and downs, and it's not easy to start. And I know that I am still gaining recognition, and I also moved to another city. I haven't always lived here in Milan, so it also takes time. But anyway, I'm working as photographer, and I'm making my living from it. So it makes me happy.
That's awesome. So I know the journey of entrepreneurship, it can be extremely frustrating because um, you basically have to create your own direction, your own sense of direction, your own success. So how have you been able to overcome the frustration of entrepreneurship?
So actually, my adventure with entrepreneurship started quite unexpectedly. I when at the beginning, when I was just starting out, I was living in a small city without any fashion in it, without any photographers or studios where I could make some internship and learn a bit about the industry. I was in a foreign country, barely speaking the language, so my only idea of what to do was, okay, let's try Instagram. And I bought a course. I started studying, posting all the stuff, and suddenly a month later I got this message on Instagram saying, hi, I'm a fashion blogger from India, and next week I'm going to Milan Fashion Week. Would you like to join me and take pictures of me and of the shows and of the models and of everything? Yes, definitely would. So it was a kind of a breakthrough. And obviously I went to the fashion week, but it's not that it solved all my problems, because you might think, oh, such a huge opportunity, you will immediately get all the other jobs. No, actually I came back and I was still struggling. I was still not a new photographer, not even living in Milan at the time. So but this experience, I treated it like a kind of sign. So I was like, okay, you see that you can do it, now just get back to it. So do the job to stay in that position for good. And this has been a motivation and a way of overcoming frustrations, because I knew that I just have to gain the momentum and make it, but that it's possible. So it was really uplifting.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, you have to continue to persevere, and you never know. That's why I tell people, just post your work, post what you feel, post what you do, because you never know who is going to notice your work and appreciate it, and it may lead to your next big break. You never know. But
Yes, and
you can't
definitely.
stop.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I also say, like, do the smallest thing. If you don't know what to do, just any idea you have, try it out, even if it seems silly. For me, it seemed super silly to start to try Instagram. Just try it out, and also follow your intuition, because it actually works much better than you expect.
Yes, yes. But by listening to your story, I can see that you're a person who has a mindset for just pushing the limits and not staying in your comfort zone, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So, how would you say, is there anyone or anything that has inspired that mindset that you have?
I think it's been a process, and it's been a process, I think, that started when I was 20, and I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad of Robert Kiyosaki. And it was mind blowing for me. I was like, whoa, there's another world. Like, there are people who actually don't live like everybody else that I see. I want to be in that world. And so I started, following master classes, reading, listening, following Anthony Robbins, Marie Forleo, and listening to podcasts like Ofra's masterclass. And just, I think I was like, getting all this, absorbing all this mindsets, because I was tending to listen to people who were like I wanted to be. And I was just trying to learn how they are and sort of imitate it so that I can follow their footsteps in some sort.
That's awesome. Awesome. So, what would you say it would be your version of success as a photographer in your position now? What would get you to feel like I am successful? Or even if you feel like that now, what makes you feel like, wow, I am a successful entrepreneur, successful photographer? What is your version of success?
So my biggest dream as photographer is the Vogue cover, but it's not my measure of success. It's just a goal for someday. Well, I feel I'm successful when my definition of success is that I don't have to worry about my finances. It doesn't mean I have to earn millions. I just want to feel kind of safe and free, so that I have time for my family. I can travel when I want. If my family needs it, I can stay with them. If I want to, don't know, go to take a coffee with my friend at 11 a.m., I go, and there's nobody that can tell me you can't do it. And so for me, these two things, especially the liberty and the freedom, are is my definition of success.
I think the world's aligning with your definition as well, because it's changing in a sense. People are looking for more time freedom versus, just having a whole lot of money in the bank. I think that's more important in today's society, and I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. So what would you say is one thing that you've learned through your journey that you would tell your younger self, maybe, that would inspire a little bit more change?
It's difficult to choose one thing, but I think the most important lesson, except the fact to be always active and always searching, which is something I kind of naturally have, would be to learn to use your disadvantages and turn them into advantages. Because this is something I've done a bit unconsciously, and I think this can be a recipe for many women who are struggling, because I noticed that if we try to imitate men, we will never be like men, not because we are worse, just because we are different biologically. Right. So what I did, for example, is that entering the fashion photography field can be very difficult. If you think about a photographer, you don't picture me. You imagine some middle-aged guy in black t-shirt, big, with a lot of big bags, equipment, and so on. And of course, it was also something that was stopping me from getting some internship in a studio or as an assistant of a photographer, because people were telling me, but that equipment is heavy. Right. And so what I've done practically was that I discovered there is this new branch of fashion photography, which is called influencer photography. and that is relatively new. And many girls tell me, most photographers don't understand what I'm doing and what I need. So the fact that I was using Instagram and my pictures were in this style already, and I could naturally follow what the girls needed. And additionally, the girls who are usually my age, the influencers and bloggers, so they feel also much more comfortable having me around, especially when they are usually not models, they are just starting out, or they don't feel so comfortable posing. So having a girl around who can help them style, who can also help them change. Sometimes when we travel, we can stay in the same room, for example, in hotel. I discovered that this became one of my biggest advantages, and it was the thing that previously was stopping me. So I think the biggest advice I would give to my younger self and to girls around the world is don't focus on what you can't do and what you don't have. Just focus on what you already have and how you can use it and turn around and trick the system a bit to make it your advantage and something that actually makes you unique.
No, that's awesome. Definitely making the best out of the worst situation is definitely possible. So, we just like for you to tell us a little bit more about your business. How can anyone reach you if they need to contact you? Before we close out, just allowing people to be able to reach you and your social handles and your website and things like that.
So definitely the best way to reach out to me is through my website, that is creativeartist.online. And there you can find my portfolio, information about me, but also my blog where I help artists turn their creative passion into a full-time job. So I write posts about it. There's also a free audio training you can download. And there are also all my social links, and there is a live chat. So you can write me anytime. I answer as soon as I can. I very much like getting messages. So and of course, I'm on Instagram. On Instagram, it's Aleksandra Galler, Aleksandra with KS. But it's easier to enter from my website, probably.
Yeah, we'll link all of those in the description
Yeah.
as well, so it'll be easier.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah.
But is there anything else that you want to share with the audience before we close?
Well, I would just say, if you dream about something, just as we said, start away, no matter how silly the actions may seem to you and in what bad situation you might be and how little you have. Just start, because these things can never be achieved in one day. So it's
Right.
not that you can wait till you're ready, because you will never be ready, because you have to step out of your comfort zone. So just start, even doing the smallest steps, and in just a short period of time you will notice what a big improvement you've done.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. And I'm sure that everyone on here is inspired by your story because I am inspired because you literally made a career for yourself out of being creative. So I think that is an applause in itself. And we just enjoyed your story and thank you for being on here today. And welcome. Thank you for tuning in today to Made to Dream. See you guys next time.